not. So I am going
Speaking of
to
that,
turn this over to Don Dean now. He's going to take over the call. But this has been a really great book that we're just getting I mean, well, I guess we're not just getting started. It kind of seems like it because we're at law 3.5, but we've gone through, I think, 4 or 5 already, right? In this one, the Law of Profitability. So this is the book, The Game of Networking by Rob Sperry that we've been going through, and Dondi is going to be taking it over from here. Go, baby, go.
We got next week, we'll conclude this book. So we're at the very end of the book. So why it's Law 3.5, as he talks a bit, because it's the culmination of the 3 previous laws, which, if you remember, are likability. Because the whole thing about influencing and being an influencer is when people know you, they like you, and more importantly, they trust you. Or most importantly, it all comes down to the likability. They like you, they're leaning in, they see themselves in you. Likability is the first law. The other is recallability. Do they remember you? Are they thinking about you when they think of network marketing? And then the third was recallability, or I'm sorry, credibility. Are they looking at you as the authority? Are they looking at you as the person who's leading the way? Are they looking at you as the person who is charging forward and showing the example? Or as John Maxwell says, one who knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way. That is when it comes down to the credibility part. So the third and a half law here is the law of profitability, which is what you end up with when you implement the other 3 laws. So let's get into the meat of this. So the whole thing about the law of probability, or profitability rather, is creating a win-win scenario. That is really the definition of the law of profitability, is when you are creating a win-win situation. But the first win is your prospect. The first win is your customer. The first win is your consultant or your team member or your leader. The other win is you, because when you help enough people get what they want, thank you, Jim Rohn, and I think it originally came from Zig Ziglar, and it probably originally came out of the book of Proverbs. When you help others get what they want, you get what you want. It's a win-win scenario, and that's exactly what the law of profitability is based on, creating a win-win scenario. So let's talk about the half law of profitability, the law 3.5. It's all about putting the 3 previous laws into action, like I said. So this is the challenge that Rob had in the book. And he said he gives this 5 years. If you do these 3 things for 5 years, and let me kind of just jump back a little bit, or take a step aside. If you guys know who Eric Worre is, he's probably considered by most network marketing leaders as the most influential network marketing trainer in the business. He is like him and Network Marketing Pro and the GoPro events. He wrote the book GoPro. Eric Worre is just an incredible person as far as teaching what it takes to be successful in network marketing. And when you look at that part of it, and Eric Worre as a person, he's talking about what it takes to be successful in network marketing. Well, Rob Sperry and many, many other people have learned about this. When you put this in action, and you are in Rob Sperry's book, he talks about when you do this for 5 years, and as Eric Worre talked about, what are the expectations of success in network marketing? What should you expect? Because when you talk to 5 people and all 5 say no, sometimes people don't even wait for 5 no's. They will quit on the first no, or the second or third no, because they don't have proper expectations. Eric Worre talks about the 1, 3, 5, 7 rule of success in network marketing. The first year, the 1, it takes 1 year to make your money back, meaning recuperate your investment, to get your ROI. It takes a year. Most people, I mean, we can help you do it and sooner than that, but if you aren't there yet in your first year, you're on your way there. The third year, so the 1, 3, 5, 7 is in reference to years involved in building your network marketing business. 3 years is to go full time. In other words, learning the skills necessary, the 7 skills that he talks about in his book, Go Pro, and implementing them and learning them and converting yourself to losing some social esteem. Because a lot of times people are going to think you're crazy, or you think they think you're crazy more often than they actually do. But it comes down to the whole thing about profitability is making money. So if you don't stay in it long enough to make money, you're missing out on all the other three things. So the key here is 1 year to get your return on investment back, 3 years to go full time, 5 years to be very, very successful in this, and 7 years to be world class. So here, Rob Sperry says, do these three things for 5 years and you will be successful. So I wanted to go kind of take a tangent off to the side to give you the frame of reference that Eric Worre talks about. And if you go to YouTube and just type in Eric Worre 1357 rule, you'll see a really cool video. It's got kind of bad audio quality because he's at a really windy day on a yacht in Sydney Harbor, but it's only about 3 to 5 minutes long. Watch it. It will change everything about the way you view network marketing success, especially if you haven't gotten to the place that you want to be yet. But most of it comes down to your own willingness to learn, which is, again, what Rob Sperry talks about here. So the first rule here, read 30 books per year. That's one every 12 days. It doesn't have to be 700 pages. It could be something, I mean, Rob Sperry's book, this one is only like 110 pages or something. So it doesn't have to be a long book. Just read a book on whether it's success in business in general, success in network marketing, personal development, mindset expansion, whatever it is. Read 30 books per year for 5 years. It's 150 books, and you'll be well on your way to profitability. The second, go to lunch or dinner with 70 different people in a year's time. Now, you don't have to buy them lunch or buy them dinner. Go Dutch. Or you could just bring a bag lunch and meet at a park. It doesn't matter. You don't have to go to a restaurant. You don't have to go to some place where you actually spend money. Just be creative here, especially if you're in the beginning phases of building your network marketing business. But why do this? Because when you are going and you're sitting down with 70 different people, you're going to talk about yourself. You're going to talk about your likes and your passions and what your goals are. It's going to come down to the likability. It's where people start leaning in. They start learning to like you. They start learning to trust you. And they start remembering you when the conversations come up about, do they know anybody in network marketing? Do they know anybody who's successful in business? Do they know somebody who's awesome? So that's where you're implementing the first two laws, likability and recallability, and then take action in building your network marketing business. It's really where the credibility comes in. So becoming a leader, a mentor, an influencer, or just someone who's doing it on a daily basis, even if it's 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day is better than all weekend long because it's the consistency and the commitment of every single day. So the 3.5 laws here of the law of profitability, the 3.5 law is do these three things for 5 years and pretty much guaranteed you're going to be successful if you stick to it. So now let's talk about mindset or the mentality. Scarcity versus abundance mentality. People that are successful in business on purpose. I'm not talking about people that won the lottery by chance. And even why most people who win the lottery don't have the money. 90% of the people who win the lottery go bankrupt within 5 years because they don't have the abundance mindset. They don't have the abundance mentality. They have a scarcity mentality. Abundance mentality you can have before you ever have the abundance. That's the entire point. But it's focusing on helping people win first. Remember, this is a win-win situation. So how do we know? This is the table of the scarcity mindset versus the abundance mindset. So when you're talking to people that have a scarcity mindset, oh, that can't work for me. There's not enough room. It's the company's already saturated. I could never be successful. There's already too many people. They think there's not enough to go around. Whereas the people, no matter how big the company is, there's people joining the pioneers in this industry like the Amways, the New Skins, the companies like that have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of consultants or distributors. And they're still coming in today, joining that many people and being successful because they have the abundant mindset. There's more than enough to go around. People in the scarcity mindset, they need to make sure that they look good if they're going to succeed. These are the people. And how do you know them? Because they're the people who don't use their upline. When they have people that are prospects, they give all the information because they want to seem like they are successful. They know all the information. That's the scarcity mindset. And I tell you this from experience. My enroller, and I've shared this story with many of you, my enroller is Blue Elam. We enrolled within 15 minutes of each other almost 15 years ago. He's a presidential and he makes more than $70,000 a month more than we do for one reason. It's this reason right here. He didn't need to learn all the studies. He didn't need to learn how SOD and catalase and glutathione work. He didn't need to know anything about the science. In fact, he didn't want to know. He didn't need to know anything about the comp plan. He didn't want to know. He wanted to use his upline. So I thought in my mind, I've got to be the one who's credible. Remember, credibility. I needed to know everything. And when somebody asked me a question, I wanted to be the one answering it. I didn't understand about using your third-party person. Be the messenger, not the message. For the first 2 years of this business, I pretty much was telling everybody everything, and Blue wasn't telling anybody anything, which is the difference between a presidential and a senior consultant. Or executive consultant. That's the biggest difference, is that he did not do this. He did not need to make sure he looked good in order to succeed. In fact, he would say, I don't even know. Let me call somebody who does. He played the ignorance card, and it worked really well. Versus, if I succeed and you succeed, we all succeed. That's the mentality he had, and I lacked, and it's the biggest mistake I've ever made in this industry. So onto it. I can't afford to do X, but I can't afford to do this instead. So it's the way you look at things. Reluctant to contribute and share information, resources, and time is the scarcity mindset. The abundant mindset, open to collaborating and sharing what is required with anyone. We have a bonus that is based on this. Unbelievable. We're one of the few companies in the industry that does. And so I have all the answers, willing to learn from others. I needed to know all the answers. I had a scarcity mindset. I didn't know it as a scarcity mindset. In fact, I thought it was an abundance mindset. I thought if I learned everything, I'd be very successful and be abundant. But I realized that was my short-sightedness. I thought that if I learned everything, I would be. And maybe there is some truth to that, but the way I handled it, I was telling people indirectly they also needed to know everything. And most people didn't have the desire or the time to learn anything, which is why the ITT system works so well. Invite, share a tool, invite to the team, or you can say, zip it and flip it to your third-party person. That's the key. Be the messenger, not the message. Be willing to learn from others. Promotes only self and accomplishments. Yes, that was me. And look where it got us. And it's so promoting others and their achievements. Use your upline's credibility, use your upline's rank, use your upline success, especially when you're getting started. That's the abundance mindset. That's what ITT teaches, dictates, and micromanages, telling people what to do. I didn't necessarily do that, but openness and trust. That is the difference ultimately between scarcity and abundant mentality. On the ones on the right is where you should be living and following those protocols. So the abundance mentality is when you do the right things for the right reasons. It will yield. You will end up with, and you will attract who you become, and others will be attracted to you when you follow this very easy ITT system of duplication and having the abundance mentality that goes along with it. This is the biggest reality and the hardest thing for people to grasp initially, because they want to start making money. And I love what Carrie Dickey says about this, that compensation will always catch up to your skill set, your abundance giving, and your effort. It just takes time. The way Carrie Dickey talks about it, in the beginning of your network marketing business, you'll be putting way more time into building the business than you are compensated for. But eventually, it'll be even. You're putting in the same amount of time, and it's equal to the same amount of compensation. In other words, you're getting paid what you're worth. And then eventually, as you build leverage and you build leaders, and the leaders take on leaders, and the leaders build leaders, and you create a leveraged machine, you will be paid so much more than the time you're putting in, but it takes time in the beginning. The compensation will always catch up to the skill set, abundance giving, and effort. It just takes time. So be a giver. This is something he talked about in the book. Rob Sperry talked about in his book. He talked about this book, The Go Giver, where the 5 principles. Principle 1 is value. Give more than you take in income. In other words, give, give, give. Answer questions, get on calls, do things for people, help your team with their prospects, get helped by your team with your prospects. Having value, giving more value than your income is giving you, is a great way, and the first principle to start in this Go Giver book. Principle number 2, compensation. Your income is determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve them. And I've never seen anything so crystal clear on this specific formula right here than network marketing. If you want to know how much money you will make per month as you build this business, almost every dollar you earn is attached to a person you are helping every month. So if you look at the people, if you look at our income disclosure statement and you look at all the ranks, whatever money they are making per month, that's about the size of their organization, almost to the dollar. It's incredible. So you want to make $100,000 a month, go out and bring on some people who will bring on some people who will bring on some people, and you'll build an organization of 100,000 people, and you'll make about $100,000 a month. It is almost an exact formula, $1 per month for every one person you're helping. That's how this thing builds, and it's how it grows. Principle number 3, influence. Place other people's influence first. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. It is just simply a principle, and it is a very exact principle. Principle number 4, authenticity. The most valuable gift that you have to offer is yourself. Don't be a bad impression of someone else. Be an original of you. The whole thing about it, your flaws, your failures, your successes, your fears, your irrational behavior and thoughts sometimes, just be transparent, be yourself, and constantly be growing, because people can relate to people that are growing and flawed more than they can for people that are polished and already successful. In fact, sometimes the people that are super polished and already successful are more of a hindrance to growing their team, because unless they're talking to a different caliber of people, unless they're talking to entrepreneurs that are already successful, unless they're talking to entrepreneurs and influencers that are already successful, if they're talking to the average person, they may be not the right person for that, because there's relatability is everything. Like I said, the most valuable person you can be, or the most valuable asset you have in your business, is yourself. Be an authentic you and not a poor copy of someone else. And then principle number 5, receptivity. The key to effective giving is to stay open to receiving. This is a principle. When you give, you will receive. And I've seen so many people in life have this unworthiness complex, where they do something for someone. They may even be a giver, and they may be very altruistic, and they may be just very giving. But when it comes to receiving, they say no. They don't want it. They refuse it. That is something you have to learn to change. You must receive. If you give, you will receive, because when people offer to do something for you and you decline it, and you may not realize what's happening. You are depriving that person of a blessing. And when you deprive a person of a blessing, it actually makes them feel bad. And there may not be another one. So accept things. Now, don't be a taker. Be a receiver. When you give, you will receive. Be open to receiving. That is the receptivity rule here, the principle here. Be open to that and change. If that is hard for you, and you know I'm talking to you. If it's hard for you, really, really work on that. And how do you work on it? Give more. And when the opportunity to get back, when they give back, accept it and say thank you, because you're worth it. So the power of random acts of kindness, and I thought it was awesome. So it actually isn't National Kindness Day, it's World Kindness Day today. So in 2009, the Journal of Social Psychology did a study, and they took a massive group of people and they had them fill out a questionnaire on what was it actually on? So it was a satisfaction survey measuring multiple areas of happiness in their life. So they gave them a satisfaction survey of the multiple areas that cause them happiness or bring them happiness in their life. And then they broke these people into 3 groups. The first group, they gave them a 10-day challenge to do something nice for someone every day, randomly, every day for 10 straight days. The other group was do something new every day. Doesn't matter what it is, do something new every day for 10 straight days. And the third group was given no instructions at all. And after 10 days, they gave them that same satisfaction survey again. And the group that did acts of random kindness for 10 days and the group that did something new every day for 10 days had a very large increase in their life satisfaction. And the people that were given no instructions had 0 change. So acts of kindness, when a human being to another human being, is so significant. They called this study was the science of giving back. It's very important. Acts of random kindness go a long way. And I'm going to share with you another study that was called the helper's high. This is so phenomenal. Think about this. In an act of random kindness, whether it's opening a car door for someone, or helping them carry their groceries from the store out to their car. Or when somebody ahead of you in the grocery line doesn't have enough money, paying for whatever balance they have because if you don't have enough money and you get up and it's a public situation, guaranteed that's going to make them feel bad. It's going to be embarrassing. And if you're the person behind them that rescues them, it's going to be an amazing thing. But here's the cool part about this. The person who is doing the act of kindness, their endorphins, it is called endogenous morphine, the happy chemicals that their body releases, increase by 600% by simply doing something kind to someone else. Well, here's the cool part about it too. There's the double side of this. The person who is receiving that act of kindness, for whatever the motivation is, does not matter. The person receiving the act of kindness, their endorphins, their happy chemicals in their body also increase by 600%. Here is the most phenomenal part about this. Someone who observes the act of kindness from one person to another, the observer, their endorphins increase also by 600%. So one act of kindness blesses 3 separate people: the giver, the receiver, and the observer. That is a 3-dimensional blessing, and I can't think of anything more awesome than that. So if you can just make it a part of your day, a part of your goal, a part of your pattern and your methods to be successful in network marketing or just in life in general, do acts of random kindness. Pay for the person behind you in the drive-up line. Pay for the person in front of you or behind you in the Starbucks line or wherever you are doing things like that. Pay for the person behind you in the grocery aisle, whatever it is. Open the door for somebody. Just walk ahead of somebody, open the door and let them walk in, whether it's a church, whether it's a store, open somebody's car. And that might be a little too forward. So maybe hold off on opening the car door, but opening store doors, helping people out to their car. Those are things that are usually pretty well received. If you do it properly, you do it with a smile, or just say hello. I love your dress today. Just say hello. That shirt just makes your eyes pop, whatever it is. And here's the thing. Don't make it false praise. Find something genuine to compliment somebody on. That is considered an act of random kindness, and watch how it changes their day. Watch how it changes your day, and watch how it changes the people around you. So the power of random acts of kindness is a 3-dimensional blessing and something that we really, really, really underutilize. So next week, we're going to finish off this book, The Game of Networking. We're going to talk about how to master the win-win. It's kind of an extension of this Law 3.5 of profitability. But when you have learned to master the win-win, your business will be successful beyond your wildest dreams, so long as you keep doing it, so long as your intention is to help others first, and so long as your intention is to give to the world and help the world be a better place. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you on Wednesday for the opportunity meeting, and we will see you next Monday for the next TFR Motivation Monday Zoom. Good night, everybody. Take care. God bless.
Cole Hagen.